Hello YouTubers, Victorinox fan here with take 3 to try to film this review on this Emerson Horseman. Now, I've had this knife for about a year and I think it's well overdue that I actually review it. Emerson is a unique brand. They're known for tactical knives. They don't brag for, lean slicing grinds. They don't brag about, high utility. They say tactical knives. Their tagline is #1 hard use knives in the world. Do I agree with that? Not so much. I kind of like my Strider a bit better, but nonetheless, they've earned their place in knife collecting as a serious brand to consider, and I'm not about to discard that anytime soon. I like this knife a lot. On basic specs, 3.54 inch blade, overall length of 8.31 inches, weights under 5 ounces, something like 4.8, maybe 4.7. So, not a lightweight knife, but for a 3.5 inch knife, very manageable. And for the balance, as I'll talk about later, it doesn't feel heavy at all. So this knife in particular is slightly more fighting oriented, as you could tell. Still hard use, characterized by thick grinds, but I'd say it's definitely slightly more fighting oriented than, let's say, my SMG, which is just more utility oriented. It's got a massive choil and a short cutting edge. But when it comes to if you need to stab things, then this is definitely a knife that looks like it'll do the job fantastic. Now, I'll admit, I don't have much of a use for tactical knives, but they sure as hell are fun to collect and fun to play with, and even outside, as you could tell probably, the scratches on there, fun to use. I'd use this knife without hesitation. And it does everything decent, considering the way it's designed. Certain things like fruit, not so much, but why the fuck are you using an Emerson to cut fruits? So, that's all I have to say, especially a knife like this. This is not a paring knife, let's just say that much. Start with some of the basic things. Handle, you've got a one-way mounted pocket clip. Not ideal, I wish he'd tap it for left-hand carry, but he doesn't, so what's the point of even complaining about it? He'll never will, by the looks of it. Something that I don't think gets enough credit, and this I have to thank Neptune Knives for really highlighting this out, is screw hardness. Now, I don't see the point of advertising your knife as being able to be disassembled if the screws are shit. Now, Emerson goes with a flathead, which a Victorinox, Victorinox flathead screwdriver works perfectly in those, and it goes for Phillips head screws, which I guess he calls for ease of field strip, to field strip the knife. Now, I don't know how much easier just to field strip a knife, since you're going to have to carry a screwdriver anyway if you want to disassemble it. But what I do appreciate is the fact that he heat treats them. These screws are well heat treated. They don't strip easy. It's not for me. And I've disassembled all of my Emersons, all 3 of them, the Horseman, the Mini A100, which I think I disassembled the Mini A100 at least half a dozen times already in the couple months I've had it, and a 7. So they all last well, and that's good, because it adds, it gives meaning to the fact of making your knife being able to disassemble in the first place. So good job, Emerson, on that. It uses a standard black G10 with good texture. Nothing fancy, as you're going to find that Emerson's quite boring in the materials they choose. But if you're going for a knife just for the materials they use, Emerson's probably aren't going to be the brand for you. What does make an Emerson good are things like the screws I mentioned, and then things like the handle and the blade design. Very purpose oriented. So, let's talk about the handle, because that's my favorite part. Look at that. Unlike all of my other knives, other than my Kirby Lambert, this blade has absolutely perfect balance. Yes, it's under 5 ounces, but if you drop it there, it feels fast, it feels light, it just melts into your hand. And Emerson's known for designing handles that fit that well. And since he has many different models, some handles will fit you better than others. Some people love the 7. I don't like the handle at all. But things like knives like this or the Roadhouse, my god, they just melt into your hand, and you just know that, okay, even though there is no choil, which is kind of common on utility-based knives such as Striders, at least the SMG is more utility-oriented, it definitely has a guard, so your hand isn't going to slide forward. That is for sure. I mean, that's a solid guard. So, great handle design. Can't complain anything about that. What's next? Let's talk about the blade. The jimping is useless. There's a ramp for the wave. I'll demonstrate that later for the sake of a demonstration, but the jimping is not really useful. I don't really care. So far not proven a problem for me. Let's quickly talk about the blade. Now, the blade is 154 cm steel. It's pretty boring, like I mentioned, right? I mean, why would I pay $150+ for a knife that uses 154 cm steel? I mean, why wouldn't I want something like S30V? Or, you know, maybe some of the more exotic steels. Why pay that much money for 154 cm? Like I mentioned, for Emerson, you're buying the knife based on the overall design of the knife, the warranty, and also partially the name, the history of the brand, because people trust the Emerson brand. Now, don't underestimate 154 cm steel. It's picked for a very good reason. This steel, CPM S30V, is harder to sharpen in the field than 154 cm. This knife is 57 to 59 on the Rockwell index scale. It's softer. That means you could touch it up really fast. Stropping will bring it back really well, and what's it called? A couple light passes on a ceramic rod or a diamond fine stone will give you an edge again, so you could keep using the blade. This was the design aspect of it. Keeps it tougher too. As you can tell, it's got a thick grind. I wouldn't say, as some people say, it's got a thick blade, because a thick stock, thick blade means that it's like, it starts pretty thick. But really, it's pretty average in terms of blade thickness, in terms of stock. So the Para is about 4, and the Emersons are all about 3. But what matters is, look how it keeps the thickness throughout the knife. And look how it keeps the thickness in the grind. It's a thick grind knife, which is also very tough. So, you're going to be able to probably subjugate this knife to more abuse than you would other blade shapes. I could abuse this tip a lot more than I could abuse that. That's just basic physics. So, they set out to do that, and I think they did a good job. This tip still penetrates very well. The blade shape, kind of known as a banana knife. I like it. It's got a nice sweep to it. It's got a nice swedge. It's mostly aesthetic, but it looks cool. And the finish is stonewash up here, satin on the bottom. I think aesthetically it's very appealing. Utility, it's got some belly, so it's actually, it works for most utility. It works just fine. And obviously, I guess if you do the stabby thingy, then it'll do just fine. But I don't do stabby thingy, so I can't really tell you. It's great in the reverse grip. Really comfortable. Does that well. Nothing more to say. Deployment is via the thumb disc. Find it works perfectly and uses the wave. Now the wave on this I find is not as aggressive as the wave on my 7, but it still works, as I'll demonstrate later. Going over the knife, I realized I missed one important thing. A couple important things. First off, to continue the deployment, it uses thick nylotron washers. Now I've dismantled this and I can tell you these are not wimpy thin washers. These are nice and thick. And while they take some time to break in, as all Emersons do, once they're smooth, they're really smooth. So definitely a good smooth knife, and they don't require any lube really to function. Like this Mini A100 right now is very smooth, but there is no lube in it at all. This knife's hot now, it's sitting in glass. So good job again on durable parts, but simple but works. The liner is titanium for the lock bar and stainless steel for the other. Now the titanium is about, I think, a couple millimeters thick, and it's solid, really. Emerson's got a good solid lockup. I'm confident in normal usage it will not fail me. But since people like to, nah, fuck it, I won't do it. I've already done light spine whack tests on it, and it held up just fine. Didn't change anything. It is a titanium is softer, so it will wear out faster than a steel liner lock. Keep that in mind. But I think Emerson knows how to do a liner lock pretty decent. The opposing liner is stainless steel, 300 series, and has a double detent. Now, this is something that's one thing I've never really understood of Emerson's. The double detent makes it like a controlled kind of opening, kind of like a Sebenza, But unlike the Sebenza, the detent's not great. So you have two detents, but neither of them are strong. That's a little weird to me. So I'll never really understand why Ernest Emerson puts such a weak detent. Or puts two, actually. I understand why he has a weaker detent, because if you want, you can just... Oh, this is weird behind the camera, but let's stand up. You could just do a light shake, and the blade snaps out. So if for, I guess, tactical usage, that makes sense. For my usage, not really necessary. So that's always been a little peculiar, the double detent, but overall not a very strong detent. Fit and finish. Here's the big, questionable topic about Emersons. Now, Emersons are not going to have the best fit and finish. If you get an Emerson and you think, oh, it doesn't look that pretty, the finish is not very nice, well then you probably didn't do enough research prior to. Ernest Emerson does not waste time finishing his knives. Now, I'm going to argue that the fit is good, because fit and finish are two separate terms, hence you use the word and. So, fit is how everything just goes together. Can I dismantle the knife, put it back together, and it looks exactly the same? Yes, it was slightly off-center when I got it, so that's the exact same. I've taken this apart many times. It's put back together the exact same with no difficulties. As with this knife. No difficulties taking it apart, putting it back together. So the fit is fine. The screws are perfect length. They actually, what's really smart, the screws don't just go into the G10. They go and they screw in to the opposing liner. So to rip the screw out, you'd have to strip through that, and that. All three layers. So I beg to differ when the fit of the knife is bad. It's good. All of my Emersons show good fit. The finish is kind of sloppy. The liners, he hasn't polished them up. They've got the laser cut marks. Certain things like that. The backspacer is not 100% flush with the rest of the liners. These little aesthetic things bother some people. And if they bother you, then really this is not a brand probably for you. Because he doesn't really care about that kind of stuff. It's not that he can't do it, he just really doesn't bother him. So keep that in mind. You're not going to get a perfectly finished knife. The fit will function. There is a break-in time with most Emersons. Usually the liner's sticky. This has just become a little sticky for some reason because I dismantled it recently, put it back together. It does this sometimes, but it does take a little time to smooth out. So if you do get a new Emerson, give it some time to break in. My suggestion is to take it apart the first time, clean out the initial grease in there, put it back together with a little bit of blue Loctite, and then start breaking it in. I find you're going to speed up the entire process really quickly. But overall, I'm very happy with this knife. I think that as a design for what it's supposed to do, it does a good job. Couple things, yeah, I understand the finish is not good, and that kind of makes you question the high price tag. But if you guys want to save some money on Emersons, just go on the secondary market on forums. You're going to find them for really cheap. At least for good prices, I find. So don't hesitate to do that. Now I'm just going to cut and show you the wave feature, because I guess I have to show that because it's my first Emerson video. So let's show you that. Sorry guys, forgot to do one thing, to talk about the edge. So the Horseman comes with what he calls his conventional V-grind. Ground on both sides, but the edge is chiseled. So he puts an edge sharpened only on one side, the left side. How does this function? It's easy to touch up, I find, really easy to touch up, and it comes razor sharp out of the box. The problem is, combined with a thick edge, it can, and since it's on one side only, it cuts asymmetrically. It's not ideal for most people, but it is functional and it'll do the job. Just don't expect super precise cuts from it. Just wanted to add that in there, and yep, off to the wave. Alright, let's see if, so as you can tell, this is the Emerson Horseman. I'm wearing track pants, which is not ideal, but it works. Just grab the knife, pull back, and it pops right open. Fastest way to deploy your pocket knife there is. So, put it in, grab it, and you're ready to go. That's the wave, guys. I'm sure you've seen it. Nothing special. Hope this helps you. Hope you enjoyed the video. Peace out, guys. Have a good one. See you around.